Hello everyone, I'm Alfian and today we are going to solve the Hackerrank React by topic, which is the article sorting challenge. And for this article sorting, I am surprised that it's one of the hard challenge, the first hard challenge that this video is going to be published for the first time. And then it describes the create a React application called article sorting that displays a list of articles and allows user to sort them based on upvotes and the publication date. Some core functionalities have already been implemented, but the application is not complete yet. Application requirements are detailed below, and the finished application must pass all of the unit tests. So in short, we are served by the most upvoted and the most recent buttons, and the way they do for the upvote part is we are going to sort based of the most upvoted counter, and the most recent we are going to use the date and then sorting by the latest one. And I don't know, but most of the submission that I read, they're having a difficulty in solving this particular challenge because of little confusions going on right here. So for the article component takes array of a prop and so on and so forth, the instruction says like this, but then for this article, for the first one, we are confused. So for example, this article component is going to pass in the article as the empty array, and this is the table component right here. And then for the app.js, it's the main function that we need to modify everything here, but it's already passed the articles as the parameter of the articles object, and then the article will be passed on again. So we need to somehow modify using some sort of useState to update the component rendering functionalities, but we don't have any import React or useState or useEffect right here. And for the second most confusing part is the project files. The instruction doesn't describe which article data that we are going to see, so it's only passing the parameter, and this part is also passing the parameter. So let's solve this by checking on the Explorer tab or using the Ctrl Shift and E as the shortcut. And then as you can see, the constant right here is the data of the article that we need to display right here, that we need to somehow tabulate right here, display all of the data, and then we are going to sort based on the most upvoted properties right here. And also we can sort for the most recent, that it's already passing as the date property with the string of the date. And then we need some kind of a function to parse the string of the date to the date component, so the sorting function can recognize which dates are the most recent than the others. So without further ado, let's solve this. It's already passing the article, and we don't have to edit the constant because it's a read-only file, and it will mess up the main application right here. So we only see that this is an array of objects, and for the objects it has title, upvotes, and date property. So let's solve this by creating an import of React, import React from React, and then we can also importing the useState by pressing comma, and then inside the curly brackets we define the useState hook right here, and then in order to render we need the useState hook by declaring the article, since it's already passing the article's property or attribute right here for the app from somewhere or the main application that renders the app. We don't need to declare another articles right here, but instead we are using the article with non-plural variable naming, and then set the article. And for this specific hook, useState hook, it's the sole purpose is to make a modification state of the most recent or the most upvoted table, and then we are passing the articles from here as the initial value, passing as the state, and then for the most upvoted function it's already declared right here. We don't have to modify the on-click button attribute for the most upvoted link, it's already declared right here. So we only need to write below the comment, and then we can use the set article to update the articles array. Oops, I'm sorry. And then passing the previous value, and then with the callback function, I'm sorry, it's not the previous value but the previous parameter or the attribute, and then implicitly return with the previous, but we are not going to pass in like this, but instead we are spreading the previous array to update, not directly mutate it but by updating it, and then chain it with the sort function. And then for the sort function, that takes a parameter of A and B, and then implicitly return the sorted A and passing the upvote, because we are using the handle most upvoted. So we take the articles array, and then on the set article takes the previous from these articles right here, and then spreading the previous as the another array and sort it by using this A, and then takes the property of upvotes, and then minus the B upvotes. You can look it up to the useSort function on the MDN docs to see for the ascending and the descending order. And then for the most recent, we need to copy this, and then for the set article, using the same sort and spreading the previous inside another array, and then just like the sorting the upvotes, then we can pass in the date property right here using the Control D to make a multiple edit date, because the date is a form of string that we need to convert it to the new and date as the new date object. So we are passing the string of the date, so the JavaScript will recognize as the date instead of just a mere string. And also we do the same thing to the B parameter of the date, and it's minus. Don't worry, we can update it later. and it's already passing the article, but don't get confused because it's only passing the articles from the app and then directly passing it to the articles without considering the useState variable. So we need to break the rule and change this to article without the plural, and we are passing the updated state right here instead of just the parameter from this, because we are working in a React, not just normal JavaScript. So for the articles, it's for the initial value, it's an empty array of the parameter. Then we don't have to declare the useState or useEffect right here. This is the structure of the table head, and then this is the table body, and then this is the table row. And for the data test ID, the table row, it's right here, the one that I hovered. This contains the article title, article output, and article 1 date right here. So for the sorry, for the table row right here, we need to somehow cut it and paste, and then we are iterating the articles.map, that from the article without the plural from the app.js, and then mapping the object or the data. You can pass in the data to minimize the confusion, and then we can pass in the second argument or the second parameter of the index, so we can declare the key later. And then using the normal brackets, because we are implicitly return and also immediately render the HTML component right here, so that's why we are using the brackets, not the curly brackets. And then for the table row, and it's the table data, it's already defined the key as the article index. If we need to properly render this key as the article index of the index 0 or 1 and 2, we can modify this later by using the template string. So it's out of concern for now, and let's modify this article 1 title. And then as you can see on the right side, we already showing the data, but it's only rendering all of the title instead of the actual data. So we need to use the curly brackets and render the data right here, and passing from the constant, cd constant, and the property is title, outputs, and date. Please do remember that title, data dot title. And then on the right side, you already seeing the content of the constants.js, and then the outputs. And also for the last one is the data and the date. Yeah, it's the date. And let's go back. Let's test it out. And for the mouse output, it's not the desired value or the desired sorting we wanted. Instead, we need to sort from the 72, or the sorting by descending order instead of the ascending order. And for the most recent, and it also takes the oldest date of the article instead of the newest date. So we need to modify the sorting function right here. Instead of a.outputs and b.outputs, we need to switch the place between them, because we are sorting on the descending order. And also the date, swap the place between them using the minus sign and then the date. So let's see for the most upvoted. Okay, it's working as expected, and the most recent, it's also working as expected. Let's enlarge this part. Okay, so let's test it out. Go back from the full screen using the F11 and run the test. Okay, so all of the tests pass except this one. Initial articles render correctly. So for the useState, for the initial value of the articles, maybe the constant is displaying 12 as the first element, and then the state is also displaying 12 and then 22 and then 2. It's unsorted. We need something to make the initial state as the most upvoted, because if we look over here on the question description, the initial state rule is the article are displayed in the table ordered by the number of upvotes in descending order. We can use the useEffect hook, useEffect, and then only for the initial state, and then declare the useEffect here, useEffect by pressing tab, and then this function. Inside this function we can call the anonymous function, and then for the second parameter we are passing an empty array because we need to render only once of the app upon rendering, so we don't have any dependency, and it only runs on initial state, on initial app rendering. So for the curly brackets, inside the curly brackets we can use the sorting, like sorting right here, and the set article like this, and copying to this part for the useEffect for the initial state. And let's run this. Okay, so the initial article everything renders correctly and everything has passed from the test cases. So we can simplify this further by deleting this set state or the set article, but instead we can move the useEffect to the bottom, because we need to use the useState to the bottom, because we need to somehow firing this function right here just once, because it's an arrow function. The arrow function will not be triggered if it's declared right here. So for example, if we handle most upvoted, not recent, upvoted, and then firing this function, but then the function is after the useEffect, or after it's been called, and then the arrow function is declared, it will not be rendered correctly, or it will not be triggered properly because we are using the arrow function. We need to somehow move this to the bottom of the function in order to call it. It behaves differently between the arrow function and the traditional function right here, because on the traditional function we can call the function even before we declare the function below it. So for the arrow function, it has we need to do a special treatment for this. So by declaring the function first and then calling the function below it, and then so that's why we are moving the useEffect hook below the most upvoted function. And then I need to tell you of one shortcut to move the block right here by selecting the useEffect hook, and then to move right here, move up and down, it's by pressing the Alt and up arrow button and then up down arrow button. So let's run this to see if it works. Okay, so let's submit this. Okay, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or if you have any better solutions, you can write in the comment section. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.